All right, we got one of the stars of the Peach Bowl, Javon Bullard there, star nickel. The man brings more pressure from that slot than any other nickel in all of college football. And you and I talked about that a little bit last week during the media days leading up to the game. But man, like, how do you disguise it? Like, sometimes one of my coaches back in the league would say, you could always tell a DB's coming from the slot position because they're like a deer frozen in the headlights. Like they're not moving. Like they're just
Right.
completely standing still. But you do a really good job disguising it. What have you worked on to put that pressure on the quarterback?
Well, it all started last year. I really coming in. College is a whole different ball game. So coming out of high school, you probably could get there at the quarterback in probably the blink of an eye. But college isn't like that. You go against smart quarterbacks like CJ and we go up against a smart quarterback in our very own Stetson. So like Stetson always used to call out the blitzes when I was coming, used to make the checks, and it's just like you had to find a way to disguise, and you have to do what's not only best for you but best for the team. So you really just gotta play with your leverage, and just like really just try to disguise it the best you can. We had a saying in the Georgia defensive room, like don't let disguise put you out of position. So you can't disguise too much, but yeah, it seemed to be working out pretty good.
I don't know, man. When going back to last year when you guys were so good, and obviously this year too, when I watch, especially the safeties, I mean, we're taught as quarterbacks, like read the safeties. Safeties will tell you lots, also the nickel, inside leverage, outside leverage, where's maybe a safety coming down. But man, you guys do so many unique things on the back end with whether it's disguising or bringing, say, a traditional fire zone, but maybe a different back end coverage on top of that. How intense is the playbook for you guys at this time of the year, or are you guys just so used to it by now that you just pretty much go out there and play?
Um, I mean, like I said, we always learning new things, man. So Coach Schumann might bring a new play call up, a couple new play calls up in each week, and by the end of the week, if we don't like them, we throw it out. If we do, we put it, we include it in the game plan. So it's all based on what we run well and what we think, what I'm saying, will run well against the opposing team.
All right, so I was nervous as hell. I'm not gonna lie. I'm watching the game. I was down to Sugar Bowl, so I was on the call for the Sugar Bowl on for ESPN Radio. So I get back, land in Atlanta. I'm driving to my parents because they're watching my kids, and so I'm listening to the radio for the first quarter. So I got to the house second quarter, then obviously got to see the second half and all the excitement. But I'm not gonna lie, like third quarter, I'm looking at my dad. We're sitting there watching the game. I'm like, man, I don't feel too good about this right now. Like, CJ's doing his thing. Offense kind of was in a little bit of a rut to start the half. I'm like, hey, 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 hey. Was there any sense of that on the sideline of like, "Oh, damn, like we're in trouble right now," or you kind of, confident on both sides of the football?
It sounds crazy, but like we looked on the sideline, I see no fear or no doubt in nobody's eyes. Like I remember looking at Chris Smith and like just looking at him, and he was just like he was shaking his head up and down. And I told him I was like, we can't send you out like this. Like what I'm saying, this can't be your last memory. What I'm saying, the Georgia uniform. So we can't send you out like this. And that what I'm saying, one plays led certain spark plays led to another, and we came out victorious.
I know one dude that yeah, I did feel good about. My dad said this when we're watching the game. My dad goes, "Man, I just feel like every time I watch Stetson, he just seems like he's always pissed off. Like every time he makes a mistake, throws an interception, or say the offense just isn't, oil as well oiled machine as we're used to seeing at times. He kind of comes out there with that chip on his shoulder. That's just who Stet is." And my dad's like, "I just feel like right now he is freaking pissed off," and he used some other colorful language. And then he boom all of a sudden throws the big touchdown pass to Smith on the outside and kind of got, I felt like, a lot of energy back on the sidelines. What is Stet like on the sideline in those type of moments when things aren't going great?
I feel like that's why me and Steph get along so good, because I feel like we're kind of like the same person, like mindset wise. Always had that kind of that chip on our shoulder. Not like I had a quote on Twitter, like I wasn't really trying to prove anybody wrong, but trying to prove myself right. And I just feel like, and like we had conversations about that quote in particular, actually yesterday, man. But it's just like he's so cool, calm, and poised, man. Like in those big moments when everybody wants him to fail, he doesn't. And when he doesn't fail, everybody still they can make up excuses of why he didn't fail. So, what I'm saying? Man, we love Stetson, man, and just him on the sideline. Like I said, there was no doubt in his eyes, no doubt, no fear. Like he was just like, all right, man, come on, man. Like it's time now. It's like now or never. And like he gave us that edge, that competitive edge. When you have a quarterback like Stetson, like there's no fear in your heart at all.
You made a good point there because I feel like that is the narrative. Like people are just waiting for him to screw up. Like they're waiting for him to say, "Look, he's not that good. Look, like he doesn't deserve to be the quarterback." It's never. I feel like it's never enough, and I think the narrative is slowly moved towards in favor of him. But there's still like, man, I felt like even looking at social media last night when things were going great. Oh, it's because of Stetson. It's because of Stetson. Just people are just so just the world we live in. It's unfortunate, but man, I love what he does on the field. CJ looked a little elusive on the field. I was not expecting that. I kind of felt like if they were going to have some success, he had to run the football at times, and I thought it was a little bit shocking, like him getting outside the pocket, hitting Harrison Jr. down the field, obviously getting some big plays with his legs as well when he did tuck it and run it. Was that a shock to you guys at all with kind of how athletic he is? Because he didn't really show a lot of that on film this year.
It wasn't a shock because we knew he was athletic, but it was more so like, okay, when he does do it, so we got to limit it. But and like I said, he uses athleticism to his advantage. This past weekend, man, he ran for a big one late, to put him in field goal range. He had some other big runs. Maybe I think it was a second and like 7. I think he made a play with his legs. And he also used his leg to extend plays to get guys open downfield, and that was a big part of the game. We knew that was going to be a big part of the week. And like I said, we just got to execute better. I know better in the back end as far as like scrambling and sticking with our guys. But I give a lot of credit to CJ and those guys, man. Those guys made plays when they needed to make plays, and a lot of that was due to his athleticism.
All right, so I don't know if you were on the field or not for that the field goal at the end of the game for the possible win for Ohio State. So first off, were you on the field or were you on the sidelines?
No, not on that one. We take the nickel out on the field goal block.
All right, so are you the type of person that is watching, eyes closed, holding hands, looking backwards? Like what are you doing in that moment?
I was watching, but like I didn't like I watched and my eyes kind of locked at the ball, but I didn't listen. I didn't really know we won until I heard the crowd. Like I didn't see Ohio State's fans like doing the little towels and things like that. So when I heard our crowd, I was like, okay, yeah, we got it. He missed.
I go back to, obviously this is not a great moment for me, but I remember 2012 because it was the biggest game of my career at Georgia. 2012 when the ball was tipped. I don't know if you've seen the highlights or not, but we're down at the 5-yard line. Ball gets tipped. Conley catches it, and we're 4 yards away from beating Alabama and going to national championship. And
Mm-hmm.
I just remember looking at the clock and like it just was so slow. Like I just felt like, is there anything that I could do to stop this thing? But obviously, no timeouts left. Obviously, and no opportunity to spike it either. Just was like the longest 5-10 seconds of my life. It felt like. What was your initial reaction? Was it like a stun moment? Was it I knew this was going to happen moment? Like what how long did it take you to process that, hey man, he just missed it and we're heading to, our second national championship in 2 years?
I think it was really when, like, because I sat on the bench, even when he missed it and the crowd started chanting, I was still on the bench. And it really didn't hit me that we were going back until that, like, confetti drop. Like, when Malachi came over to me and he gave me a hug and we did it. And that one is really, it was like, okay, yeah, we going back to the ship. Like, we won. Like, we handled business and now it's real.
All right. So I know a lot of people were talking about, like, last year, like there was a wake up call when Alabama beat you guys in the SEC championship game. And, there's, every team that's essentially survived, going for, UNTC, TCU had like their somewhat wake up game in the Big 12 championship. Ohio State had their wake up game versus, Michigan got to go back and there's always, it's hard to make improvements after winning a football game. It's a lot easier to make improvements, obviously, after a loss. You want to go figure out what the hell went wrong. You guys haven't had that opportunity, but you did get knocked in the mouth a little bit by Ohio State. Was that to me, was that a good thing to kind of show you guys that, hey, man, we are somewhat vulnerable. We almost lost an opportunity to go to the Natty, and, let's get back to work and make sure that doesn't happen in, the next 8 days before that national championship.
Like I said, we always find ways we can improve on, win, lose, or
Yeah.
draw. Like, that's not always, we don't base our game plans or preparation on whether we lost or we won. And we always trying to find ways to get better. Like the coach got a saying, it's not always as bad as it seems, and it's not always as good as it seems. So like we always look, we call this thing like on Mondays after we get after a Sunday lift, and on the next following Monday we got a thing called going to the doctor because we got things we need to fix, things we need to work on, and things like that. So like I said, we don't really base it off whether we won or lost, but we give a lot of credit to Ohio State. Those guys came to play, and we knew that we were going to get their best shots. So, like I said, at the end of the day, you don't really worry about the stats and what what the naysayers saying. At the end of the day, it's only one value that really matters, and that's the win or loss.
Hey, as now a fan of college football, and obviously of you guys, it was a good day for college football between the game before you guys, and I'm sure you're gonna watch the film on that. That was just bonkers, and then your game as well going down to last second. It was good for college football, I think, at the end of the day. So all good stuff there. Last one, obviously, let you go and let you get ready for the big week of preparation. What was the celebration like, man? Like, I know you guys have won a lot of big games. You just won an SEC championship. You won the Orange Bowl last year. You won the national championship last year. Does it get numb at all? Like, man, we've already been here, done that, or is it still freaking sweet knowing that you just won the Peach Bowl and it was pretty sweet and exciting there in the locker room?
It's definitely exciting in the locker room. You hear Coach Sport get up one of those iconic speeches. But like I said, just being in the locker room with your brothers, knowing that all the work and preparation that you put in is paying off, and we try to take full advantage of it. It's a real feeling, and knowing like how what I'm saying, growing up, you dream of those moments like that. What I'm saying, the confetti falling and things like that. It's amazing, man. You couldn't really dream of a bigger moment. But like I said, we always keep a business mindset ahead. Like we've been there, we have like not necessarily we've been there before, but we have. Like I said, we just went last year, so we always keep that business mindset. Just take it one game at a time, and we only got a game left, so we got to get prepared for that one.
All right. Well, we're all excited to cheer you guys on in LA. Javon, appreciate you jumping on. The best, I'm telling you, the best nickel corner blitzing line, corner out there. I mean, off the edge, just take it high, take Max Dunn, Duggan down, and it's going to be a good night for the Dogs come 8 days from now. So appreciate it, brother. Good luck and enjoy the grind as you guys get ready for another natty.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we got a future dog with us right now. I guess I can't say future anymore because he is on campus, had some practice last week, getting back to Athens soon. So actually moves into his new dorm there in Athens soon. Gabriel Harris, defensive player, outside linebacker, inside linebacker, Mr. Do-It-All on that side. Future stud for Kirby Smart in that defense. Gabriel, man, what's up? Thanks for jumping on, man.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
All right, so what was it like that first week? Was it that big of a jump from the IMG Academy, which is known for producing some of the best players? We've had some of your teammates on the show before over the past couple of weeks. What was that first week like though?
First week, it's just a different pace, a different kind of ball, a lot more faster, I would say, but still the same thing. Still just football, but just a lot more faster, I would say.
Did anyone just absolutely smack you in the face and you're like, oh, damn, like this is some big boy football now? Because that offensive line's nice. I mean, they're number 2 in the country behind Michigan.
The offensive line is nice, but we didn't get on that pace yet because we wasn't just in shells and stuff like that. But like I'll say, like the movement, like the tempo is that's probably the biggest thing. Coach Smart is like about tempo, like that's probably the biggest thing.
Oh, dude, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, he has like 3 or 4 practices going on at once.
Right.
It's like guys just rotating from spot to spot to spot to spot. So yeah, you better get your ass in shape because you're gonna be running a ton in those practices come springtime.
You're gonna be dog tired. He's still telling you to go. Like it's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what about obviously offensively it's a little bit different too, because I mean Monken, the offensive coordinator for Georgia, I think does such a good job of like moving Bowers around, moving Kenny around, and Washington around. How big of a difference was that for you just watching, like, man, like how much they use their tight ends and running backs in different spots?
Well, just like me playing defense, recognizing the offense. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get, really. You just got to really go with the flow. You really don't know what you're going to get when you're playing it. Like,
yeah.
Really
no, man, it's what makes them so good, man. They're freaking. It's gonna make you better at the end of the day too, trying to figure out what the hell they're doing on the offensive side of the football.
Right.
So you're moving in this week, I believe. Who you rooming with?
Me and Sam Pimble.
All right, we actually had Sam last week on the show, so that's perfect. Two IMG guys rooming together. Y'all are lucky. Y'all got the two. See, I had to live with three other guys. I was in the 4-2 there. There, God, I forgot what dorm room we were in, but so you going straight to
ECB?
2-2. You're living the dream right away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they treat you IMG guys too good. They got to make you guys go back a little bit because y'all been living the life at IMG. Now it's just an easy rolling over there to ECV.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the biggest adjustment that you need to get ready for? Because I feel like IMG is like a mini university, anyways. Like what are you most nervous about?
I'm not really nervous about anything, to be honest. I'm just really just ready to be there and already just to have my role set, just have what I want to do already. I'm like just ready to fill my role kind of.
All right. So we know you're a football guy. We know you love football. We know you're excited to get out there and do your thing. Off the field though, man, like Athens is a beautiful place. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fun. There's some good music. There's some good food. There's some beautiful sights to see, if you know what I mean. What are you going to be doing in your off time to enjoy yourself a little bit?
My freshman year, I'm gonna just take this as a time like to really lock in, like, cause everything else, you're gonna enjoy college. I know I'm gonna enjoy college and stuff like that, but my freshman year is really just the time to like kind of lock in, get what I learn the ropes first, then I can have like time to go chill and stuff like that, like relax when I
You're
know
chill
about.
now. Are you a gamer? Are you playing games? Are you reading a book? You watching Netflix?
I'm more of a video gamer. I'll be on Madden a lot. Me and Sam would just be going at it, kind of like just like an IMG, staying up all night playing Madden. I guess.
Y'all need to get on that FIFA if you want some of that. I'll take y'all down in that one, the real game. Um, no, it's pretty sweet that you guys get to kind of, you know, you guys know each other already, former teammates, move in, kind of push each other on that defense side of the football.
Oh
Last
yeah.
one before I let you go, and obviously get ready to get to Athens and get moved in and whatnot. Um, what is that like working with him at IMG now coming together, roommates, and you talk about the late night playing Madden, but like do you guys push each other on the field too on that defensive side?
Oh yeah, most definitely on and off the field. Most definitely on and off the field. Like with working out, even if we're just about to go work out or something like that. But like pushing each other is really the whole team at Georgia. Everybody's pushing each other. That's what you want though. The whole team, like everybody, every individual on the team pushing each other. Everybody want to be great.
Oh. Like you talk about practice, man. Like Kirby ain't about that BS. So you better be ready to go. And I know you guys will, just based on where you guys have been. It should be a somewhat easier transition and always good to get there mid-year. So, man, appreciate you jumping on. Anytime you want to hop on, chat about life, ball, video games, you and your roommate. But man, we're looking forward to see what you can do in that red and black here real soon.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. Go Dogs.
I appreciate you. All right, so we've had some great conversations from current players for future Bulldogs guys that will be on campus. It's been always fun catching up with those guys as they get ready to start their journey there in Athens, Georgia. And we're going to be mixing up this week as well. We're going to get the fans' perspective. We're going to go into the stadium, what it's like to be a damn good dog fan these past couple of years as that Georgia gets ready for back-to-back national championship appearances against TCU and LA. So I had to bring one of my boys, one of the best fans I know, Aaron Light, into the show. Aaron, man, you have you got any sleep since New Year's night?
Man, I'm telling you, that's I don't know. I don't know if my nerves can take much more of that, but that's kind of been the name of the game this season. But can you believe that we're here a year later?
I mean, it's just I don't think I got much sleep. And I kept telling myself, like, you need to go to bed. You have a 5-week-old, you got to wake up, help the wife. You got the 2.5-year-old. So I'm like, try taking melatonin gummies pretty much to help me fall asleep after that game because I was absolutely wired. I asked my dad the next day. He's like, man, I didn't go to bed till about 3 or 4 in the morning. There's been some great games. I was a part of some really good games. 2017, that Rose Bowl, I was lucky enough to go, and my wife doesn't even like football, and she was in tears after that game. That's just how special it was. The national championship against Alabama, the one they lost, the one that they won. Just been some really great moments over the past decade for Georgia football. Where does that one rank for you the other night?
Well, that's right up there. You think about that Rose Bowl game back in 2017 and you kind of go back and forth, like which one takes the cake there. And it's close, it's really close. I just think the tenacity of this team is something like we've never seen before. It's so much different than last year where we steamrolled everybody. It was expected that we were just going to run through them. And this year it's been a whole lot different, but that game that ranks up there. That's definitely top 5 as far as I'm concerned in clutch wins.
Yeah, I mean, just how clutch it was. And I mean, I'm kind of torn. I know Stetson said it after the game, and he's like, man, this game obviously he said, I'm biased, but I think this game is a better game than that Rose Bowl game back in 17. I think the one big difference, and I love Mercedes-Benz, it's a great stadium, and maybe it's just because, I've been to so many games there that I'm accustomed to it. But the for those who are there and those that have been to the Rose Bowl, just how special that stadium is, the scene, the energy, everything about it is just at a whole different level. So the fact that you won a Rose Bowl, the fact that you won in that kind of fashion in overtime with the studs that Georgia had on offense, with Baker on Oklahoma, I don't know. I mean, listen, it's two of the best games I would say in Georgia history. But I would put probably the Rose Bowl, the more I think about it now after the game, maybe just a slight advantage over what we saw in the Peach Bowl the other night. But I'm torn. Both awesome games to kind of witness. And I was at the Peach Bowl. Maybe it would have meant a little bit more if I was actually in Mercedes-Benz and not at my parents' couch watching the game, drinking a couple cold ones. So that's that about the differences in those two games. I want to jump into players, and Georgia's had some incredible players. I've been very vocal about Stetson being, in my opinion, the greatest quarterback of all time. But is Stetson working his way into maybe greatest Georgia football player of all time? We all know Herschel is that guy right now. Won the Heisman, won the Natty, but Stetson's won a Natty, won an SEC championship game, could win another Natty, was at the Heisman ceremony. Where do you rank him in greatest of all time?
No, I think he's definitely in the conversation, if not already there. I think if he takes care of business against TCU, I think that most certainly, nearly solidifies it for me. And it just makes it all that much sweeter. He's got a storybook going right now, so that kind of ending to his career at Georgia, I think would just be the cherry on top. And it's such a storied career that he's had because so many people haven't believed in him. They've doubted him at every turn. And I think finally, maybe, I don't know, I'm sure he'll still have some people that doubt him and, have something to say, but what's there left for him to accomplish, right? I mean, it's almost like they tried to bury him on the depth chart for years, and he just kept rising to the surface, and he's beating out these 4- and 5-star quarterbacks for the job to the point where the coaching staff can't deny him the opportunity that he's earned. So I think that there's something to be said for that, not just the accomplishments and the accolades, but the way that he's done it, the way that he's gone about it. I mean, you could literally write a movie script. If somebody already hasn't started one, you could literally write a movie script about what he's done in his time at Georgia.
Well, and I need to be Stetson Bennett in that movie. I think
it's a natural
why
casting.
not?
I think it's a natural casting.
I can get the Staquavius fade if you want. I can
That's
put
right.
a wig on and get it curly if you want. Whatever you want to do. Me for Stetson in the Stetson Bennett documentary, Netflix, Hulu, HBO, whoever's out there listening.
Yep.
Come on, sign me up. Let's go. I'm good in front of the camera. I'll go take some acting lessons. Plenty of acting schools here in Atlanta. What's it like right now being a Georgia fan? Because Alabama's been kind of the king of the SEC, king of college football, and those fans have enjoyed the spoils of Nick Saban and national championships and top recruiting classes. And all of a sudden now, I mean, Georgia's kind of to me the new Alabama. They've gone to that point. But like, what has it been like past 2 decades of the close games, the opportunities to win a Natty, not finishing it off, seeing Alabama in their rise, kind of being in the shadow of them. Everyone in the SEC has kind of been in the shadow of Nick Saban. But what's it like past 2 decades as a Georgia fan, seeing everything go on and then now seeing where they are right now?
Well, listen, I'll tell you, I mean, I can go back to, I was born like 2 miles from the stadium, right? And so this has been my entire life. We waited for these years. And I think it's not lost on most Georgia fans that you better stop and absorb and take in these moments over the past, 15, 24 months, what have you. This is the heyday. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the shift, the turn in the tide, if you will. And speaking of the tide, there's been a big difference there too, because you look at even just this, this Peach Bowl, right? And you compare us to Alabama, as many have for a long time. And it seemed like for a number of years there, as Kirby was kind of beginning his, putting his stamp on Georgia, that we would always lose the close ones, right? We would almost get there, and then Alabama would find a way to win, or so we'd find a way to lose it ourselves. And I really feel like it was almost as though this was solidified this weekend, that Georgia now is that big monster, right? That's always going to find a way to win. And so it was almost a shift. Whereas, I think a lot of fans, they're still just so scarred from, decades of Georgia football, getting a 10-win season, but not quite getting all the way there, that they go into these games a little bit scared, a little bit nervous, because, they're conditioned that way. And I think a lot of people now are kind of changing that thought process, and they're thinking, no, we're going to find a way to win. And when you got a guy like Stetson at the helm, who does find a way to win, like he did this weekend, it just really signals a culture change at Georgia, and the physical toughness of the teams that Kirby is putting on the field every year now.
Well, it's gonna be interesting to see going forward. I mean, I actually was on the call for the Alabama game this past weekend versus Kansas State, and I tell you what, watching them play on Saturday afternoon before the playoff game started and watching it live, I'm like, man, I'm glad that the expanded playoff was not here this year, because they looked. Not saying Georgia wouldn't win, I still would have confidence that Georgia, has kind of gotten that monkey off their back. They beat them last year. There isn't that scared factor of, oh, it's Alabama, oh, it's Nick Saban. Like, no, we've played them enough. We beat them last year. We have equal, if not better, talent this season on our football team. We'd go out there and do the same thing, but they look like the number 2 team in the country this past weekend versus Kansas State, and a team that, if they were in the playoffs, probably would be facing Georgia right now in the national championship instead of TCU. I don't want to get fat and happy and cocky. Like, Georgia's defending national champs. Georgia just beat Ohio State. They won the SEC. They're undefeated, all that good stuff. And this is an even further step forward. I mean, last year was great. You won a Natty, but you did have the one blemish. There's something to be said about going from first game to now, number 1 team in the country, and going undefeated in order to win a national championship. It's just a little bit sweeter, just from the outside looking in. But TCU is a team that just, to me, just doesn't die. They don't quit. They just survive and advance, and they find ways to win. Is there a sense of too much cockiness, in your opinion, from Georgia fans heading into this game? Like, oh, we're 13.5-point favorites. This is a Big 12 team. They should just be happy to be there. What's the overall feeling in that sense?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a sense of cockiness. I just think it's a different team this year altogether. So I think Georgia fans along for this ride have just kind of, learned to accept this season is going to be what it is. I mean, let's look at last year. You lost 15 to the NFL. I don't think that anyone expected us to be where we are right now. And if they did, then they're, probably not being truthful. We thought maybe we'd have a good season, but did we really think we would be undefeated at this point, playing for another national championship? Most people, I would say, did not. It's just not the same team. It's been a roller coaster this year. I mean, we started the year off against Oregon. That looked like it was going to set the tone, right? 49-3, demolished them. And then 2 weeks later, we find ourselves trailing Missouri 22-12. You have impressive wins over Tennessee, over Mississippi State, but then you put up 16-6 against Kentucky, right? So it's been this constant roller coaster. But I don't think they're going to go into it cocky. I think they're going to go into it and into practice thinking, man, we've got to turn something up on defense a little bit, because we can't play the way. We can't let them put 41 points up on us. We don't necessarily want to shoot out with Duggan and them at TCU. Those guys are playing with a lot of heart right now. It's almost like they're the Georgia team last year, right? They're surprised they're there. They're excited they're there. They're going to be fired up and ready to go. And we got to dial some things in and fix some things in practice. But that's one thing that Kirby has never done poorly on, is getting these guys prepared, always finding that angle to get them pumped up. And I think they've got a lot of stuff to look at on tape this week.
Well, I will admit, and I know it's easier said now that the season is over and they're undefeated, but I did think Georgia would go undefeated, I thought it would be different. I thought it would be more, offensive dominant and less defense going out there and being, a defense that gives up 11 points per game this season. The fact that they didn't take a major step back, besides obviously this game versus Ohio State, but that's an elite offense. But I didn't expect the defense to be as good as they were. I thought this was going to be an offense that had to score, 30, 40 points per game, which they have most of the time in order to have success. And you look at their schedule, I thought the schedule was a little bit weak. It's going to be weak again next year. So I kind of expect the same thing at the end of the day, but it's just been so much fun to watch. So before I let you go though, I know it's early in the week. We're filming this on Monday right now. We have a full week ahead of us before this game in LA, and a lot of things could change in between that. But right now, if you had to give a score prediction, what is your score prediction for that national championship?
I'm going to go 45-28, Georgia. 45-28. Put me down for it.
45-28. So that's covering that 13.5 point spread, which is just amazing that's going to be like that. But I'm with you. I mean, I think Vegas has it about right. I think this is a 2-touchdown game. I like Georgia to win. I like them to win big. I like TCU. I love the story. I love Max. I love, what they've done as a first-year coaching staff. But I just think Georgia been there, done that. Confidence is a better football team on both sides. So, all right, man, I appreciate it, Aaron, joining us. One of the best DGD, damn good dog fans out there. And are you going to LA, or are you watching it from home?
No, I think I'm going to watch this one at home. But if it was a little closer, maybe if it was in Atlanta.
I was looking at flights this morning from Atlanta, $2,000 to head out to LA. So,
that'll keep you home right there.
That will keep you home. All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you had a great new year.
All right. You too, bud. Take care.